Think about this the next time you climb on an airplane. An FAA whistleblower testified before Congress today that his bosses repeatedly ignored his reports of inspection requirement violations by Southwest Airlines. He also says his bosses, who were leaned on by Southwest to remove him from the case, knew that the planes were flying illegally and did nothing about it. You may remember a congressional investigation found that Southwest kept dozens of aircraft flying without mandatory inspections, and it turns out some of them had possibly dangerous cracks in them. The airline's now facing a record $10.2 million fine. There's more to this story. An American Airlines pilots group says that regulators have mostly ignored several dangerous incidents where cockpit windshields have shattered during flights, sometimes forcing emergency landings. The pilots claim these safety abuses exist because the FAA is too close to the airlines. For its part, the FAA says 4 U.S. airlines, it doesn't name them, are being investigated for failure to comply with federal aviation regulations. You have a government agency that knows of 4 airlines that are not in compliance with FAA regulations, but it won't say which airlines? That is beyond outrageous. Officials say 3 of the airlines have missed inspection deadlines. But the FAA still insists people ought to feel safe despite all this. They say, quote, flying safer today than at any time in the past, unquote. Here's the question. How safe do you feel when you fly? Go to CNN.com/Cafferty file and post a comment on my blog. How safe do you feel when you fly is the question. Chuck writes from Oregon, I'm a retired U.S. Army air traffic controller. The last time I flew, December of 1996, going into San Francisco. Do I feel safe? No way, especially with this inspection thing going on and the obvious poor working conditions of the FAA air traffic controllers. David in North Carolina, with a gazillion other problems associated with flying, I'm rarely able to focus on my safety while I'm in the air. Being herded like cattle through security, rude service from airline employees, plane delays, overbooked flights, service carts scraping people's knees, no leg room, the smallest seats outside a Broadway theater, the screaming child in 17A, etc. Such whining. Scott in Kansas writes, I work for a major aircraft company. I have a bachelor's in aerospace engineering. I know what's going on pretty much every second during a flight, and I know how much redundancy goes into everything a plane does. I feel perfectly safe, just as I hope everyone flying in our planes does. Nora in Texas, I've always flown Southwest. I'm just glad I'm here to post a comment. Ed in Montana, I'm a member of the Million Mile Club. Means I've flown over 1 million miles in my travels for work. I gave away my frequent flyer miles. I now fly only when I have to. I say a prayer before every one of these flights, and I'm an atheist. John writes, I feel safer flying than when I board a train, bus, or get in a car every morning on my way to work. I feel safer flying than when I take a cruise ship, go sailing, swim in the ocean, or for that matter, swim at the local pool. The fact is, flying's safer than all of these, and it's never been more safe. Teddy disagrees, says, I don't fly. I stand and bitch at the pump when it goes past $50. But if I'm going to die, I want to be on the ground. If you didn't see your email here, you can go to my blog at CNN.com/Cafferty file and look for your letter there along with hundreds of others.